Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be discussing the sort of player count drop of Anime Crusaders. I just want to mention, I still love Anime Crusaders. This is not a hate video. It's just discussing the disappointing updates that we've sort of been getting and the underwhelming update 1.5. Just before we begin, I'd like to ask if you guys would please consider liking and subscribing. It helps out the channel a lot. Anyway, let's begin. A lot of you may know the game used to average around 30 to 20,000 players, and it currently has less than 7,000 players playing right now. It's at its lowest that it's ever been at. Now, we kind of want to look into why that is. Overall, I think the player count will always be a lot less than other tower defense games, simply because it is a harder game, and has a niche sort of player count in the sense of, it's a lot like Anime Adventures. It's harder to get trait rolls. You can't really just farm them like day to day, but you can sort of have like a good amount of trait rolls daily. I still put my hands up and think you can get a lot of trait rolls daily by just buying them for the gold shop, doing the dailies, and a lot more. But overall, the play count still has dropped drastically, and I kind of wanted to look into why that sort of was. And to do that, I looked at the first update. So the first update overall did well. They introduced raids for the first time, which was really cool to see. So they overall added in a raid shop, which was really cool, and it was a Sakamoto's Days update. Sakamoto Days is a pretty new anime, I'd like to say. It's really popular at the moment, and it had quite a lot of stuff coming out when the update dropped. So it was a pretty good update, and we got a cool secret unit with a unique ability. I think overall that update was really cool, and the player count kind of spoke for itself. And then moving on to that, we got kind of update 1. Update 1 was on Demon Slayer, which at the time, or even right now, is doing really, really well. Looking at games like Demonfall, which hasn't been updated in like 5 years, still having over 10,000 players playing. Demon Slayer right now is a really hyped up anime, so how did this update even go wrong? So I think one of the main things that went wrong with this update is the units added in. So the units added in, what they sort of went for is they went for sort of like a unit from every season. And if you look at the Wikipedia, you can kind of see how they did this. If you look over here, we got Season 2 Akaza vs Rengoku. We got Tengen from Season 3. We got Daki from Season 3 as well. We got Giyu from the new movie. We got Tanjiro pretty much from the entire season. Like, overall, he doesn't really change. He's the main character. He's going to be there the entire time. But yeah, overall, we kind of got someone from basically every season. We can count Tanjiro as Season 1 if you really wanted, but he kind of goes through all the stages there. But yeah, we got someone from every season, which I think was a pretty cool thing to add on. But my main concern and my biggest disappointment was the amount of units added in from the new movie being just Giyu. I feel like they could have added in a lot more units sort of relative to the new movie and overall more popular characters. I do understand that they added in quite a lot of cool characters. I think Tengamiga's secret is really cool, but my biggest disappointment was Akaza. Akaza is the new Crusader unit. Overall, he's a pretty cool unit. It's Akaza versus Rengoku, and if you guys do not know, Rengoku is by far my favorite character in Demon Slayer. But overall, seeing him as a Crusader unit in a big update 1 like this was a bit disappointing to see, as I wanted a lot more from the update in my opinion. But I do feel like the overall Crusader unit could have been cooler. A unit that I think would have been a cool thing would have been like a Sugikuni brother, so one of like the twin brothers, and you could sort of evolve them to either the sun breathing or the moon breathing. They could probably even just do the same exact thing. It's just a reskin version, but I feel like that would have been a really cool add-on. But overall, we got Akaza versus Rengoku, which I just feel like was a bit disappointing to see. Crusader farm for Akaza was very, very long, and I know a lot of people complain about that, and I haven't done that fully myself, but I do have to disagree in the sense of he is the best unit in the game. So I do see why the farm for him is going to be very long, and a lot of people are sitting here being like, a new Crusader unit will drop, and that unit will probably be stronger than Akaza versus Rengoku. But the fact is, you'll have Akaza versus Rengoku to farm for that next Crusader unit. It will be infinitely easier for you. But yeah, I don't think the farm for Akaza was all that hard or bad. But I think the one thing that I do agree with was the overall item that you need. So the 2% item here that you need, I feel like could have had not a pity, but a boosted chances. Similar like Anime Adventures, where if you had the current update units equipped, it would boost the chances of those drops. I feel like that would have been a cool add-on, which they did add on into update 1.5. But before we get over to 1.5, I want to go back to update 1. They added in Infinity Castle, which is really cool to see. I think this was a cool add-on, and I think it just showed that they were adding in a lot more to the game than just one small little update. And in the Infinity Castle, we got Rio and we got the Sweet Witch from Soul Eater. Overall, 2 really cool units to see. But it brings me over to the poll that they did in their Discord. Now, if we go over to the game poll over here, it says here that this is the Infinity Castle Room 100 capsule units, possibly. So they did confirm that it wouldn't be a guarantee that these units would be added in. But if we look at the actual like sort of votes, we almost had 35,000 votes. But if you look at the votes themselves, around 38%, almost half of the votes went to Dante and Virgil from Devil May Cry, which would have been a really cool add-on in my opinion, even though I did not vote for that. But if you look at the second least voted thing, which was other, is what we actually got. And as much as I do understand that this wasn't a guarantee, this was a possibility, I feel like it's just a bit disappointing to see that a lot of the community said that they wanted these sort of units, but that wasn't listened to. I do feel like that's just a bit disappointing to see, even though they did confirm that that was not going to be the guaranteed unit. But moving on up to update 1.5. Update 1.5 dropped the Spirit Invasion. We got this cool new little shop, right? And we got a new game mode. The new game mode is just pretty much similar to any other game mode, except it got a lot of ideas from Anime Adventures, which is really cool to see. So your units in there get damage buffed, unit drops increase / whatever sort of you can get in there, including the currency, which is really cool to see. All they did really add in was a 30 wave game mode along with a new shop. The cool thing about this game mode though is that they introduced the card system, which is a little system that I'll be putting up on the screen right now. It's a really cool new system that they added in, which was overall really cool to see. But the update itself was just a small little event similar to the Monarch event and the raid shops. It wasn't anything new in the sense of it really wasn't something game changing. And the anime itself, I love Mob Psycho. I've watched a lot of Mob Psycho growing up. I just think it was a bit of a disappointing anime to add in for update 1.5 in the sense of there's no hype around it. And it would be nice to actually see them get some feedback from the community on what animes they want to sort of see. Overall, I've never played nor watched Devil May Cry, but I do think the units look pretty cool. I would have preferred seeing those 2 units rather than the 2 units I've already seen the animes for. Again, it's a weird predicament in the sense of I feel like they just need to listen to the community and get some more community feedback. They do say in their Discord often that they want to communicate better with their community, but it doesn't seem like they want to do that as much as they once did. Again, back here they'd ask a lot of questions, but it just seems here that they don't really want to know more about what animes the community wants to see, what sort of units the communities want to see, and actually put that into consideration moving forward. The new update also dropped in a very poor manner in my opinion. There was no real ping for it until it actually dropped. We got a ping for a tournaments update, but when the update was actually dropping, they just dropped this normal message. They just, hey everyone, they mentioned that they were dropping update 5, and they did a dev ping, which I do understand is just a dev ping. I just don't understand why they didn't at everyone. I don't see why there was no trailer done or any proper marketing. I just feel like it was just randomly pushed out and it was done in such a poor manner. The only reason I actually knew this update was even dropping is because on my For You page, I saw the Anime Crusaders game icon change. The overall sort of hype and sort of build up for the update was really, really poor. But games have died further than Anime Crusaders is similar to Anime Last Stand, but have made major comeback. It's kind of exciting to see where they'll kind of bring this back and how they'll bring this back. We do know that they're working on their Halloween update right now. They've actually listened to the community and started working on Thriller Bark, which is kind of the map that everyone sort of wanted to see. So it is going to be exciting to see what we're going to be getting from this. They said the next thing is going to be the Halloween event. The only thing I can now wonder is what will the Halloween event sort of be? What will it showcase? What will we kind of see from this? But only time can really tell. And once we get the update, we can sort of find out where the game is sort of going in their directions. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video entertaining or helpful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps out the channel a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next video.